This is Renegade, and man, this is a tough one. Okay, so we're going to do a review on Superman, Batman, Apocalypse. Okay, if you can't tell from my expressions, I I kind of regret this one a little bit, but we're going to get through it. Okay. This movie is a confusing mess. It really is. It wants to tell. It basically wants to tell three different stories. This is the biggest problem with the movie. It can't figure a story out that it just wants to stick to. It wants to tell three. First off, we have the origin story with Kara and her journey to become a hero. Okay, that's good. Then we have the Apocalypse story, which is where Big Bartha has left and essentially is getting her revenge back towards Apocalypse. And then we have the final story, which is you could argue this isn't really a part of it, but I would argue it is Kara's descent into evil to become a pawn of Darkseid's, which is very reminiscent of Mary Marvel in the comic strip series Countdown. Or not comic, the comic book series Countdown, before the 52 and everything else happened, which was very interesting. Any one of these three stories would have worked well on their own. They really would have. They would have worked perfectly on their own. All three of them have enough drama and engagement. You could have told the story a piece. Each one of them would have worked separately, but put together, it's a confusing mess to try to follow. Okay, so here's my notes I wrote down on all of the on the movie, and it's all over the place. Seriously. Let's see. So let me hit some of my bullet points here. Okay, there's some things in this movie that really are done that I find really problematic. Okay. Batman. Okay, Batman, first off, is out of character in this movie. All right, this comes into play exactly in the fight against the Doomsdays. The big Doomsday fight, it comes right into play right there. Batman's throwing an axe, and the first thing he does is he buries it in a Doomsday creature. Batman buries the axe in a Doomsday creature. Are you kidding me? And okay, granted, we come to find out that the Doomsday creatures aren't really alive. They're not very sentient. They don't even have really a mind of their own, and they don't even bleed. But the point is before he knows this, he buries a fucking hatchet in a damn Doomsday. I just, oy. I don't know. I can't say nothing. I mean, Batman. It's Batman. You know, the guy that doesn't kill anybody because his parents were murdered. I mean, granted, you could argue that it's because it's a whole ton of Doomsdays and shit has hit the fan and they need to take care of it right now. You could argue that. But it's Batman, okay? Even if that occurs, I'm sorry, the guy is not going to go against his inner thing, and against his inner morality. It's just not who he is. And then we have Superman, And I will say this: Superman through the whole movie's in character, and even though he does something I'm not a real fan of, he destroys all the Doomsdays. Well, he destroys it. He pretty much finishes them off with this blow, or with the heat vision. Even though that occurs, afterwards they have a scene there, and this works. This works. This makes perfect sense. And honestly, Batman should have had a scene as well. I'm just going to say, Batman should have had a scene like this too. But Superman had a scene. He drops to his knees and is regretful of what he did. To which Wonder Woman comes up and basically tells him they weren't really alive. There was nothing you could do. There was no other choice. And that scene is perfect. That scene's perfectly done. It should be there. It works. What doesn't work though is Batman taking a hatchet and hitting a motherfucker upside the head with it. Sorry, it doesn't work. I know I'm beating that in, but I mean it doesn't. Okay, other things. We have a famous homage to, which one is it? Is it Crisis? I think it's Crisis on Many Earths. Is it Final Crisis? No, it's not Final Crisis. It's not Infinite Crisis. No, I think it's Infinite Crisis on Many Earths, or something. It's a famous scene showing Superman holding Supergirl in his arms and with this cape draped over her, and she's dead. And it's a famous scene. It's a famous scene in one of the comics. It's a Crisis comic. I can't recall which one it was. It was the first one. We've gone through a few Crisis comics. Okay, cut me some slack. Okay, anyway, so we got this homage to it, except in this one is actually Harbinger, aka Lila, who is in his arms, and it looks great. It's a homage. It's an excellent. It looks great. It looks just like the comic. Okay, so we have story 1, which is basically Supergirl landing on Earth and learning to become acquainted with who she is. We have the superheroes all trying to teach her in a different way of how to control her powers, where she stands in this world, and what she should do with them. And that's fine. The 3 superheroes in question is Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And all 3 of them, they have a perfectly valid reason, each of them, of trying to show her a way. Superman wants her to live a normal life. Batman is concerned because he doesn't know if she's really there or not, for if she's trying to work against them or is with them. You know, he's paranoid about her pretty much, which is fine. That's how Batman is. And his thing is that she needs to learn to we got to know where she stands here. And then Wonder Woman's all about, she needs to learn how to control her power. She has these great powers. She needs to know how to control them. And so story 1, it's working fine. It's doing great. Up until the point where the Doomsday fight occurs, the movie's doing things perfectly. It's running well. When the Doomsday fight occurs, that's when the movie starts going, you know, and then it picks itself back up, and then it goes back down, and then picks itself back up and down. That's kind of how it is. It's one roller coaster of a movie right there. Okay, so that's story 1, and that is a perfect story. And you could have did a whole movie like that. You could have had a villain there. Apocalypse could have been a villain, just like you originally wanted. You just focused on that, and you created a plot involving Apocalypse that made a lot more sense. Okay, now plot story 2. Okay, story 2 is the story of Apocalypse itself. Okay, Big Barda has left the Furies, has escaped from Apocalypse, and is talked about coming back. And she comes back and she gets her revenge upon all the Furies. Okay, that's a really interesting story. That's a very interesting story. How's she going to get her revenge? What she's going to do? What is going to happen? You could make a whole movie of that. That would have been perfectly fine. You didn't. You put it together with this. And we decided to go, okay, we want Supergirl to be part of the leader. We want Supergirl to be the head of the Furies. And then later they decided they want Wonder Woman instead of Supergirl. And okay, and if you basically boil down the bad guys plotting this, okay, this has probably one of the weakest bad guy plots I have seen in a DC movie. Apocalypse plot is basically that he's bored out of his fucking skull, that he wants a new Fury to take over, a new leader to take over the Furies, since Big Barda has left. He wants a new leader for the Furies. I'm sorry, that's not a good bad guy plot. It isn't. It's kind of a lousy plot, and it's a terrible plot device to throw in there. But if you'd have took the story that I just threw at you, Big Barda going against the whole entire Apocalypse, and she can get the Justice League behind her, that's fine. She can get the Justice League behind her. That would have been a cool story. You could have told an excellent story right there. Okay, 3. The third plot, the third story, which comes into play and is probably the weakest one, and that is the Supergirl turning evil plot. Okay, ironically, I like this ideal. I like the ideal of having somebody as strong or possibly stronger than Superman that he cares about turning evil or being manipulated into evil, so that he has to deal with the consequences of that. Okay, we saw this done once before in Countdown. Mary Marvel. We saw her turn to the dark side. Yeah, we saw her turn to dark side, and we saw how she became a very evil villain. She became actually a pretty good villain in all aspects. Very conflicted about her emotions. Very much in trying to be in control and very much not having any control. And you could have did that with Supergirl. That would have been fine. It would have worked perfectly as a movie. That would have been really interesting. It would have been fascinating to see the superhero, this iconic superhero, do that, and see how Superman has to adjust to that. Try to get her back. That would have been interesting. But we don't get that. We get a great fight scene out of it. We get to see a fight scene between Supergirl and Superman, and that's great. It starts with an earthquake, everything's in everything. Anyway, Lenny Bruce says not afraid. Anyway, but the point is that would have been a great fight. It's a good fight. I like the fight, but it doesn't hold any resonance to it. We as the audience know that's not what's going to happen here. We know that it's bullshit. We know that what's going on here is bullshit, and it's just a way for you to basically get another 5 minutes in the movie. All right, let's talk about another problem here. Okay, we have. What else did I write down here? Let me think. Okay, so the big plot on how to take out Apocalypse and force Darkseid into giving up Kara, is to blow up the Hellspores and basically blow Apocalypse up. This isn't a bad ideal in general. I just have a problem with Batman that does it. Now, I know I'm really harking on the whole Batman thing here. In the comic books, and I believe it's Final Crisis, I might be wrong on this, but if I remember right, in Final Crisis, he kills Darkseid. Okay? He kills Darkseid. In that comic, that made perfect sense. It made perfect sense that he kills Darkseid. What he gives a justification, he does that, and everything else, and all the rest of it works. In this movie, he threatens to destroy the Hellspawn, or the Hellspores. This is not Spawn. Sorry. He threatens to destroy all the Hellspores and blow the whole planet up. Yeah, this is your hero, people. It's Batman. Anybody else see a problem here? You can't give good justification for blowing up a whole planet. You can't. Alright, so then we come to the final scenes in the movie. You get this incredible, awesome fucking fight scene between Superman and Darkseid. Superman gets knocked out of the fucking Earth's atmosphere, and then there's a great, incredible, excellent fight between Supergirl and Darkseid, and it's just, they're throwing everything at each other. You can see that there's a lot of emotion going through it, and it doesn't work at all. Because even though it's a great climactic finish to the movie, and it's one you can get pumped up about, you haven't really seen why it's a great climactic finish to a movie. Even though it's an awesome fight scene. And it's one I enjoyed. And I'll probably enjoy again. But it just doesn't work for this movie. You haven't earned that, is my point. It hasn't got the resonance there that it should. It doesn't resonate as well as it should. It doesn't work. You know, you have the three heroes that are trying to help Kara find her place in the world, in this world, and how to control her powers, and that story really would have worked. And you could have worked, like I said, you could have worked Apocalypse in and had that as the big climatic finish, and she makes the choice, and that would have been fine. It would have been perfect that way. You could have had it to where the evil Supergirl, you know, Supergirl goes evil, she fights Superman and everything else, and is finally brought back to her senses, and then has this big climatic fight with Apocalypse. And that would have been fine. Both stories would have been a lot better. I mean, all three stories I threw at you are in this movie, and all three stories would have been well-made movies. They could have been well-made. They're all good stories, and it could have made a great, fucking fantastic film. Any three of them. You could have gone into the psychologies, the philosophies of each one of these heroes. You could have gone into showing the complexities and the complexities of being a hero and dealing with the darkness in you as well. You know, showcasing that Superman does have kind of this dark side to him, and it's flipped on its dime because that's what Supergirl is. You could have had an excellent revenge movie with Big Bertha and show her triumphs trying to get to that point. But we don't. We get a mess. You know, and I hate to say that because I really like this cast. I like, you know, we have some regulars return. We have Tim Daly as Superman. We have Kevin Conroy as Batman. We have what else we got here? We have Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman. We have a very talented Andrew Andre Broughton. I'm sorry, Andre Broughton as Darkseid, who does a phenomenal voice as Darkseid. I like the guy's voice. I think it fits. We have Edward Eisner as Granny Goodness, and Summer Glau as Kara. I think she does a great job. I like this cast. It's a good cast. I just wish that you'd have just picked one fucking story and just stuck to it. It would have worked so much better. than the mess that we got. But we didn't. You know, this is what we got. What we got is basically the beginning of one good story moved into a revenge type story / rescue, into evil story, into I'm a hero now story. Yeah, it doesn't work. I'm sorry. It really doesn't. It doesn't work. In all honesty, you kind of took away a lot of stuff from this film. You know, this movie is supposed to be a sequel to Superman Batman Public Enemies, which is another film I think has a ton of problems. And I don't know. It just feels like they completely missed an opportunity here. You could have told, if you're going to tell Supergirl's origin story, just tell Supergirl's origin story. If you want to tell a story that's reminiscent of Mary Marvel turned to evil, tell that story. It's a good story. Seeing a hero fall is good. If you want to tell a revenge story about somebody that was evil that is now good and is going against the people that they originally were with, that's a fascinating damn story to tell. See, this is hard for me. This is extremely hard for me when it comes to this film. And here's why. I like the movie for certain things. And I dislike the movie for certain reasons. And I just pretty much laid them all out for you. So she's going to get a rating. I think this movie had a lot of potential. You could have done a lot with this. And I just feel like they blew it badly. Will I watch this movie again? Yes. I still like the movie. I do. I know I've sat here and bitched about it for 20 minutes. I do enjoy the movie, but I enjoy it for what it could have been. Like I mentioned, these 3 stories would have been a great feature film apiece. But for what it is, I can't give it no higher than 2.5 out of 5. And it makes me sad. Because I think the animation's good. I think I really enjoyed the climax. The awesome fight scene in the climax is really great. You know, I said I like the cast. I do. I think the cast is great. I just... they just botched this story so much. And so, I mean, I can't give it any higher than that. So, yeah, it gets a 2.5 out of 5. And that's the best I can give it. Well, anyway, that's all I'm going to go for. And so this is the Renegade. I hope you did enjoy your evening. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed the review. Maybe you seen me get a little flustered or lose my temper a little bit. But I do apologize. I know I'm going off on a tangent. But, you know, maybe you enjoyed this video. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Rate, comment, subscribe below. Tell me if you liked the video. If you don't like the video. Tell me if you think I'm a dumbass. If you think I'm full of shit. You know, tell me if you think I'm right. I mean, I'm looking for feedback, okay? This is what I think about the film, okay? That's it, you know. So in the meantime, I'm the Renegade, and I hope you have a good night, and I'm out.